Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our complete beginner's guide to Last Epoch, shall we? So, the quest says that we need to return to the Keeper camp and speak with Keeper Lena about what happened to her good buddy and being abducted. But before we do that, I think it's important to talk about the loot filter. So, you can open up the loot filter by pressing Shift F, and it does give you a little bit of a tutorial here. So it says Loot Filter Basics. Filters function by creating rules and ordering them. Rules located higher on the list take priority and overrule rules listed below. So we're going to see what this means. So we're going to create a filter. Now, you can import people's filters. You could paste it from a clipboard if you find one online, but you can also just create a new one, which is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to call this Necrofilter for our Necromancer. This means that, we can save this on our account maybe and use this between other characters or upload this even online so others can use it. And you can write it in the description for all our necromancy needs. Now, I'm going to use this skull as the icon for this, and it's going to be like a gray color. Confirm. So it'll look like this, and up here it says selected loot filter, and on your account, you can, switch between other ones that you have made. So what we want to do is add a rule. So you see how there's this big green button over on the left that says add rule 0 out of 75. That's how many you can add. So this loot filter is one of the best loot filters I've ever seen in terms of its ability to be customized. So I'm going to click on this, and it then opens up this screen which says edit rules. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need to give rules for the loot filter to follow. So for example, what we need to do is first click over here where it says add condition, and we say, okay, add condition. And I'm just going to click rarity, and I'm going to say normal items, okay? So we're going to say rarity, normal items, all right? And what we want to do is, click visibility and say hide. So what this means is, over on the left, the rule is hide. Okay, so that's the rule. And you can emphasize if you want to really show it, and you can only show stuff that your character can actually use because of the level dependency. But what we're doing right now is we're going to hide all normal items. So I sorted by rarity, which is all white items. And that's the first rule. To hide all rarity normal items. So condition, rarity, property, normal. Hide it. And what that will do is it will make it so when I'm going around getting loot, no white items will show. Because I don't care about those. They don't give that much money. I don't need them. So we're going to hide them. Alright, so we're going to say update. And then now you can see right here we have one rule which says hide all normal items. Now, another thing that we can do is we can look at our character really fast. And, well, let me actually go to my skills. What skills are we prioritizing? We're using, for example, this skill right here, which is Hungering Souls. And this scales with Necrotic, Intelligence, Damage over time, and Spell. And then we have another skill that we can slot in. We also have an unspent point with our Hungering Souls. So let's do this first. We're going to put the point right here. I was actually enjoying adding projectiles, but you don't need it unless there's a whole bunch of enemies on the screen. So I don't know if I'm going to put a separate point into this, but what we can instead do is go Dominion of Undeath, which says it costs less mana and fires projectiles in a wider cone. So I'm going to do that because what I want to do, and usually what you want to do on this skill tree, is move to the outside because that's where the really powerful stuff is. Now we could also go here and say souls deal additional spell damage based on your mana, but you make less. So we make 2 more, but it costs more, but then we're making 2 less. So we go back to the normal, but per every 20 max mana we have, it gets +1 damage. So that would be +4 damage right now, because we have 87 mana. And then we could speed over here into this area where souls are significantly larger and deal more damage, but only 1 is created with each cast. So This doubles the damage, and it doubles the size, so it hits easier, but it makes them, better for single target, but smaller. And then you're just making them bigger and bigger. Great Soul, Fire Skull, okay, into Eternal Pyre. Or you could go over here, and you could do Soul Drain. So that's one path we could take. We could also keep going over here and make a bigger cone, and then they go further and they cast faster. And then we could also go over here to just get a chance of extra projectiles, which is 6 extra projectiles. And then this makes us do more damage to possessed enemies. And this one says they deal additional necrotic damage on hit. And then we can go down here and we can say, whenever we get hit, we can cast it. That's kind of cool. They do more damage if you have minions, which we do. And then we could focus over here and work with our minions. So honestly, I plan on having a few minions. So I'm going to just go down here so that we can work this way. If we want to go up here to Reaper's Gaze, soul hits instantly kill enemies that are below a health threshold. If you have a similar effect from an item, then the highest threshold is used. So, we could instantly kill stuff if we don't want the damage over time to go in. And then we could get a better chance to cast Ward. So, okay, interesting. I like this because I kind of want to go here, but I also kind of like these. So this is good. So we've got Hungering Souls. Now, another reason I take us here is because necrotic, spell, damage over time, and intelligence. And what do we want to put over here? Well, you know what I'm using a lot of? I'm not really using... I could go into Wandering Spirits, because they're the same kind of thing. The, old people wandering around. And we could boost them up a little bit. And we did that before, but we didn't like it because they were so... the cooldown. But if we use this, some of the skills... necrotic, spell damage, intelligence, damage over time, those all synergize with Hungering Souls. So what this means is, I want gear that adds to necrotic, spell damage, damage over time, area, and intelligence. Because if I have that, now this doesn't have area, but it has everything else, then the gear that I have would benefit my 2 primary skills, Wandering Souls and Hungering Souls, or Wandering Spirits, rather. So I'm going to actually drag this up here and use it. Now remember, you can respec these at any time, but I like it. Now that I know kind of how this works, and I'm not relying on this as my primary skill, we can look at this again. So they move faster and deal more damage, okay. They last longer when they're revealed, so this makes them wander around longer. They reveal more frequently, which is okay. A shorter cooldown, make it, you can use it more. That's cool. Now, but what we are looking for here is, can we start to get stuff that, works with our necrotic damage, or any of the other damage over time effects that we have going. What do we want to do with these guys? Now, we haven't spent a point, so if we don't want to boost these guys, we don't have to. And in fact, what we could do is say, you know what, I think that's interesting, but let me actually go back and then look at my skeletons. Now, skeletons, we could boost our skeletons because they're always out and they can help us. The consequence of that is you could see that they have this fist and this flame. That means, you know what, they are of physical melee type, so they don't really synergize with this. Harvest does. It's necrotic. It's intelligence scaling. Okay, so there's that. But right now, we're not really at the point that we want to be, because they don't go quite together. Now, the thing about this game, Last Epoch, is that the game at the base difficulty, especially early, is relatively easy. So you could get away with just doing really whatever build you kind of find fun, and you don't have to worry too much about it. It's not a punishing game in that way, and you can always respec. So if you go stuff that's not like the ideal optimal build, then don't worry about it. But because these kind of work together, I'm going to stick with it. And we can reduce the cooldown, we can fear stuff, or we could just have them move faster, deal more damage, last longer. Okay, they move slower. Around the player, they're good. Let's just have them be Souls of Rage. I think that looks great. Okay, so now we have two abilities that we're leveling up. And this is Wandering Spirits, and this is Hungering Souls. So what this means is, and you can mouse over them here as well to see it, Necrotic Spell, Intelligence, Necrotic Spell, Intelligence, and Damage over time. So I'm saying that because I'm going to go back to my loot filter. I'm going to add a rule. And what if we just say, emphasize, condition, affix, we're looking for these affixes. Okay, so if we click affix, everything that we're looking for here, which is down here, okay, class specific, acolyte, that's us. We can go in here and open that up, and but we can also let me just minimize that for a moment. Okay, so if you see this melee, for example, spell, cast speed, critical strike damage, these 0 out of 9 right here, this means there's a drop down with all kinds of other things to look at. So we're going to look at damage type, and we want necrotic damage, because that's kind of what we're doing. And now we don't need that, but necessarily. But let's just go with that for now, and say okay. Okay, that looks good. We've got 1 damage there. General, damage over time. And by the way, you see how it says damage over time right here, and then in quotation marks it says blighted? That means like if you get a magical item, it'll be like blighted axe. And that means that blighted is the affix for damage over time enhancement. So that is what we want. That is looking good. And then we're going to go into attributes, and we want intelligence. Looks good. Mana and mana regen is good. Okay. Let's see. This looks good. Is there anything else that I want? So what we're doing now is we're just emphasizing anything that has one of these affixes. So I'm going to just experiment this, and I'm going to kind of move it like this. So we're hiding all normal items. Now, eventually, you might want to hide all blue items as you get more powerful, and you don't even need blue stuff. So you kind of play the game to see exactly what you're looking for, and you keep coming back to the loot filter to adjust it so that you're getting the loot to show that's only the loot that you want, so you don't have to waste time. And it changes based on your character and your build, and you kind of have to come back and tinker with this. Now, I'm not going to spend a million years on this. I've spent a good bit of time already, but you can see how deep and how much there is. And already, what this is going to do is just emphasize some stuff and then filter out normal items. So we're going to just close this up, and our loot filter is set. Now, another thing we can look at is by pushing F, we can open up the Forge. And the Forge is going to be where we can enhance items. So what does that look like? First of all, I'm going to transfer my materials up into the crafting materials section. And actually, before we open this, did we get anything that we want to use? So I'm going to sort my items just really fast and say, do I like this staff? No, not really. This is a magical shield, but we don't really need that. We can't even use this because you need to be a mage. So there's that complication. This right here is a million times better than what we have because it doesn't add in critical strike chance, but it gives a bonus to spell damage, health regeneration, physical damage, lightning resistance, and intelligence. So we're just going to equip it. And then we have a couple of rings that boost dodge rating, movement speed, damage over time. So that's pretty good. Do we have anything else that's any better than that? Actually, no. So those are no good. We already got better robes. We're happy about that. So for the most part, I think I'm going to sell just about everything I've got. So before I do any forging, let me go over here. And let's just run to the shop. And sell a bunch of stuff. And then once we get some money, we're going to see about shattering runes. So let's talk to her. Yeah, he got grabbed by a drake. Bobbity-bobbity. Let's go. Okay. So I'm going to just pretty much sell the lot. Now, that being said, let me see if I can find anything that has a property that I want. Okay, this has intelligence. That's possible that I would like that. All right. So I'll use that as an example. Dexterity, health, find potions. Right. Okay. So I'm going to keep this just for a moment. And then we only have... we actually don't even have enough money to buy a shattering rune. That's okay. So I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to just push F. And let's say, for example... I took this Scholar's Copper Chalice of Life, and I'm going to drag it into the forge. Now, when I drag it into the forge, you're going to see that this thing has prefixes and suffixes. So the prefix up here is intelligence-based, and the suffix is health-based. So you can see how it gives you +1 intelligence, which you see over here. That's the first one, and then... health is the second one. Now, what we're going to do, though, is not click on any of this stuff right now. Just pay attention to the fact that right up top it says it has a forging potential. And I'm going to click on this scroll that's below it, and I'm going to use... oh, wait. No, clear. Not that. This. I want to use the Rune of Shattering. And if I use the Rune of Shattering, what's going to happen is... this thing says, destroys an item, creating a random number of affix shards containing its powers. So, what that means is, we're going to get a random number of shards containing health and intelligence powers. So I'm going to shatter it. And we got a +1 intelligence shard and a +1 health shard, and it was sent to the forge. So, it already is put into our reserves, which we have over here. We have these crafting materials. And you can click and open this, and you will see that it opens up a rather large screen of all of the different prefixes and suffixes that we've got right here. So, increased health regeneration, added dexterity. That's what these things do. So, we also have a Rune of Refinement, to re-roll the value of the affixes, and the Rune of Removal, which allows you to remove one random affix that you don't like to get some shards. So you can kind of really, again, this is overwhelming. It's crazy. You don't need to worry about this right now. It's just something to kind of introduce you to because it allows you to see how in-depth and customizable this game is. So you can really fine-tune not only your character with the skills and then the loot filter, you can also fine-tune your equipment by using the forge. So if let's just say, I just got this, right? And I dropped this into the forge. It has 21 forging potential. Now notice how this one has 4 different branches coming off of it. Whereas if I were to put this item over here, it doesn't have anything. And you look at it and you're like, well, why is that? Oops. Here, pick that back up. That is because this is a white item. And it has plus 10 armor and mana that you could see under the word gloves and 12 forging potential, but it has nothing underneath it. So I could click and I could work on this, but you really don't want to spend any time improving white stuff. But also, blue is the kind of rank above a white item, the rarity above that, and it has 2 properties. So you can see now that's why I have 2 suffixes, which are physical resistance and health regeneration per second. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not about the sequencing in which they're listed. Like, it's not the top to the bottom. It's just what are these? And physical resistance and health regeneration per second are suffixes, and then other things are prefixes. And you'll see what these are as you go and learn more about them. But blue items have 2. So, like, this is a prefix and a suffix, where intelligence, scholars, initiate, robes of life, okay? And then you can see of life is the suffix that is health, and I believe scholar is the indicator of intelligence as a prefix, right? So I have this shattering traveling staff, and if I look at this, it has a prefix. Shattering is melee cold damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow item, and yellow items are a rank of rarity above white. So it kind of goes, white is just common, blue is slightly magical, yellow you're getting into rare stuff, better stuff, and it's got 4 properties. So we have 2 prefixes, warriors and defiled, and then we have the bones and then regrowth are the suffixes, but it also has this lightning resistance, which, I don't know, it's just on there, but it doesn't factor into the naming of it. So what we could do here is say, you know what if we want to say, all right, right now, this is giving me plus 1 intelligence. What if I want to click on this, and I want to upgrade the affix of intelligence. So you see how it's plus 1 intelligence? Now I've pushed the up arrow. You see how this is over here? And you can only really do one of these at a time. I'm going to click over here, and then you see how this is kind of connected over here to intelligence. 21 forging potential remaining. And to upgrade this, it's going to cost 1 to 10 forging potential. So there's some randomization here with, you don't really know how it's going to roll out. And I'm going to use 3 affix shards of intelligence. And if I mouse over the intelligence shard, you see how it says adds plus X intelligence. This is also telling you don't really know how much you're going to get, but that's what it's going to do. Now you can click on this to add glyphs that modify the outcome of a craft when upgrading an item. So this will randomly change the upgraded affix to a different one if you want to do that, and this will modify the outcome of the craft to grant it a 25% chance to have no forging potential cost. So this means like you can actually upgrade an item but keep its forging potential, because once the forging potential is gone, then you can't tinker with it anymore. It has no ability to be forged or upgraded. Now I'm not going to use anything because this is a low level item, but I'm just going to click on upgrade affix. Now you see how that only used 1 forging potential. We still have 20, we had 21. And if I mouse over this, we got 1 more intelligence. So it went from plus 1 intelligence to plus 2 intelligence. Now I can do this again, but I can't forge it because you see how it says requires level 13 to forge. Forging an item, enhancing it, kind of raises the level of the item, and thus the experience level that your character needs to be to equip that item. So they won't let you, mercifully, they won't let you accidentally forge an item above your character level so you can no longer use it. And in this case, we're good. I can't really, go over here and boost intelligence anymore, but I can come over here and boost this if I want, or this if I want. I just can't raise intelligence. And why? Because you see how it says tier 2? I've upgraded it already. But these are tier 1. So I can upgrade the tier 1, but I can't do the tier 2 right now until I raise my experience level. So this is something to mess around with, but I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. At this point in the game, I don't touch this because I'm just trying to fill out my loot, and I'm experimenting with my build, and I'm going through levels and loot so fast that it's not really worth my time. But at the same time, it's also really interesting to experiment and see what's possible. And if you have something that you want to boost, go ahead and try it. Just mess around here. You're going to get plenty of these resources, so it's not a big deal. Now, this is another hugely important thing. This messed me up, and I didn't realize this. If you close the forge right now, you'll notice that my trinket is not there. Why am I not using it? Because it's still in the forge. You have to open up the forge, and you have to take this relic and put it back on. So you have to take it. You can actually store stuff in the forge if you really want to, but you could take it from the storage and then from the forge rather, and put it back, and then now you have it. And you could see that we have boosted it up a little bit. So now we are ready to go. And I'm going to go talk to this guy right here because you see the gray diamond or the silvery diamond. That means he has a side quest for us. And so he wants me to go check on his niece, I believe. And we say, yeah, we got that. No problem. So always just go around, make sure you look for a quest. And you can see they're marked on the minimap, so you can find them easily. All right, now we're ready to go. Let's talk to Keeper Lena.
Okay? Where's Balthus?
So about Balthus, he got kidnapped.
What? What happened?
It was a giant drake. It just flew in and grabbed
That
him.
must be Orion.
Yep.
If he captured Balthus, he's in danger.
Who's Orion?
An Osprey's general. He's the one leading the hunt for us.
I see.
What happened to the artifacts Balthus was protecting?
It was taken along with Balthus.
That must be what they were after.
Uh-huh.
We have to save Balthus. Get him and the Epoch back.
Do you know where they would go?
Their camp is not far. I'll have to organize a group. Go after him.
Then allow
You
me.
sure? I could gather soldiers. Have them come with you.
No. I've got skeletons.
You'll walk into an entire army of Osprix.
Trust me, it's me.
Stay safe. Stay alive. And bring Balthus back.
I will. Okay, so we get a passive point and 30 experience. Now, I do need to summon some skeletons to scare her. And then do this. So we got another passive point here, and we're kind of moving this way. Now, this is giving us the chance for ward. This is going to boost our minion attack speed. And this one will help us get more vitality and help our minions be stronger. But we could also go here and get armor. And here to get intelligence. And guess what? We could also go here to do more damage. And let's do some more damage. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so remember Shift F for the loot filter and then F for the forge. Now, I went through those really quickly, and we're going to go through those more as they become important. I just felt like, okay, we're already 3 episodes into the guide. I need to explain these systems. We haven't touched them yet, but honestly, don't worry if they're still a little bit overwhelming, because right now, all we need to focus on is just killing stuff and getting loot. But you can do that stuff and just set a few filters, mess around. You can, shatter or try to upgrade one item and be okay. Don't worry about, you don't have to upgrade all your stuff. It's not realistic at all that you would upgrade every item. You know what I mean? You just don't have the resources to do that, and you're going to be replacing your gear, so it's not even worth it. All right, old folks, you're dead. Now, check it out. I'm going to get this. You see how it says Occultist Brass Amulet of Embers, and it's in all capital letters? That is the emphasized all capital text for the properties that we're looking for that we added to our loot filter. So it must have the affixes of one of the things that we're looking for. So if I, here it is right here, the Occultist Brass Amulet of Embers. So this is got increased necrotic damage, fire resistance, and health. So this is way better for us, right? Now, you'll notice this is actually a yellow item, and it has only 3 properties because a necklace doesn't have as many as this at that level. I don't know, maybe you can get a necklace that has 4, but this one only has 3. And this only has 3. The weapon has 3. So maybe it's just either a special feature of this relic, or it's just more a fact that you can have a range. Not all blue items have 2. Like, for example, this blue item only has 1. But it also might be just based on the slot. So just pay attention, and what you'll figure out, let me show you the filter, is like if I add a rule and then I just sort by rarity, you'll see that if I go down the list of rarity, there's normal white items, magic blue items, rare yellow items. Okay, then you start to get into gold and unique, amazing, like legendary style-y items, and then set pieces. And then these, some of these later ones, it's not necessarily hierarchical, but it's just they're going to be color-coded differently, and we'll look at them as they come up. But the idea that you want to get into your head is that, like, it's just white to blue to yellow to gold and so on. And we'll find some examples. You're not going to see them drop all the time, especially early in the game. But the amount of prefixes and suffixes, or just overall affixes, increase the level of the rarity. And that's what we're looking for. So you can see right here, there's this mana-fused outcast cage of hope. Now you see how it has 2 prefixes and 1 suffix, I believe. That's what these dots are. 2 dots at the beginning, 1 dot at the end. But it's also not in all caps, which means that... Oh, I gotta bring that skeleton back. It's not emphasized. It's not hitting what we want. You could go crazy with your loot filter if you want and change it more so it's like you're not even seeing items that are for other classes, for example, if you just don't care about that. Now, you can get more refined. You can make it so if you find, like, a unique item for another class, for example, that you want to keep that, so you can still see that. But if it's any other rarity for another class, then who cares? That kind of thing. Okay. We unlocked this already, right? Yeah. Okay.
Impossible.
No, it's not impossible. Trust me. Got him. Okay. So yeah, so many of these items just aren't that great. All right. These quill hogs, not quill rats, hogs, we are killing with so many skulls. Our skulls are awesome. It's cool because we can basically... There we go. Hey, look at that. So there's 2 items, a blue and a yellow, that... There we go. Okay. We got a passive point and a skill point. Alright, so both of these also leveled up too. So we can boost this up, and we can kind of go here and just do more necrotic damage. And we will. And then this opens up this, and 1 more dot along this path to open up that. And then we come over here, and we need 2 dots to go this way and 3 dots to come up here. So this converts the necrotic damage to poison damage, which we're doing necrotic, so we don't want that. I like just the fact that, you know, they move faster and do more damage. It seems really good. Okay, and then we got some passive points. Well, let's just max out our damage. And oh boy, we unlocked the Bone Golem. Okay, so the Bone Golem. Let me look at that really fast. I'm going to just look at this, and it says, I'm going to just put it down here. And he has a cooldown. Let me see. Does he just last for a particular amount of time? Okay, no, he will last. So I'm going to just summon him. And there he is. So now we got a team. We got a Bone Golem and we got some skeletons. I'm not really planning on going heavy into the summoning, but it's just a nice little feature that you can have a few guys and they just kind of take the attention of the enemies. Now, I would go that way because that's where the main quest wants us to go, but you see how the side quest is over here. So let's go get that. Oh, wait, but we did get some loot that was really good. Oh, these gloves are amazing. Look at this. Intelligence and health. So that's why it's scholars. So we equip that to get the intelligence. And then, what's this? Mana, vitality, armor. The one I have is better. This does more spell damage, increased damage over time. So we want this for the increased damage over time. And you see we're getting a lot of yellow stuff. And let's just go down here. We got our crew. By the way, there's secrets on the map that don't show up. So you can always do a good job by exploring and finding like little hidden treasure chests and such. Okay. All right. So those guys died quickly. Let's just pick up these items. Oh, I'm full on potions. The Flaming Brass Scepter has damage over time. And let's talk to the dying person. It was a trap. Rest now. You did good. Alright, so we need to tell him that it didn't go well.
Will not take me.
Ooh. A twined Bullroth of the Axe. Oh, I pushed T for Town Portal. I meant to be pushing R to summon my wandering people. Look at that Bone Golem just doing work. So I don't know if you guys remember, like at the beginning of this guide, how weak we were. And, you know, it was a challenge. We were using like some pretty bad abilities. Now I feel like we've really, really come into our own with, you know, we've got these minions, but then our hungering souls are just doing great work. We've got some more gear. Okay. We're going to roll over here. And there we go. Pick this up. And let's see. There's some jerks here. Oh, Fracturing Siege. It's an amazing dagger. Now, another thing you could do, if you want to get real picky, is you can obviously change your filter to look for, you know, emphasize only if it has two of the properties that you're looking for once you get a really good set of equipment. And then if you've got good stuff there, then you say 3 or all of those properties. So it's like you only see stuff that has the miracle roll of like everything that you're looking for on it. Hey, look at this. And we found a orange item. This is unique. So unfortunately it's a quiver, which we won't use. Wah, wah. But it's the next level up. So Move down here. I'm going to go back to the town. So I'm just going to click on Keeper's Town. Yep, travel. Now, here, I'm going to go in my inventory. I'm going to show you. This baby is orange, and it's the Arrow Guard. It's a unique heavy quiver. Now, unique items you can't mess with. If I go to the forge, I can't do much with this because it has 0 forging potential. These are pretty much set, but in the sense that you can't use the forge on them. Now, this is 1 item. This is 2. This is 1. This one has 2. This is 1. This is 3. I'm going to transfer materials. There you go. Fill that up. That's 2. That is 3. This is 2. I'm just counting between the yellow and blue. So it looks like blue items, again, it could depend on slot or depend on the role, have either 1 or 2 affixes, and yellow items can have 3 or 4, is how I'm seeing it. And again, please fill in the blanks if you know, like this has 4. Is it based on slot, or is it just a roll of 3 to 4? I think it feels like it, looking what I see, it's just a roll based on if it's blue, it's going to be 1 or 2, and if it's yellow, you know, it's going to be 3 or 4. Now, the other thing I want to clarify too is, let me go to this and go to our loot filter. So, you see how Exalted, I don't believe we've seen, but unique is the orange. So we've seen white, blue, and yellow so far. So we'll have to kind of wait to see more of those items drop as they come up. We can tell this guy the bad news. And we get some gold and some experience, which is cool. You know, you finish the quest up, you get that. Now, what we want to do is see, is there anything here that we really, really like? So, that we want to shatter. This has increased necrotic damage, for example. Everything else, I'm just going to sell. I'm not, like, hugely into it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just sell this. Now, I am not going to sell the unique item. I'm going to put that in my chest. I'll show you in a moment. Alright, and we almost got to 2,000 to buy another shattering rune, but we didn't make it. Now I'm going to go to the forge, and I'm going to go here, and I think we're actually out of shattering runes, sadly. So I have to wait until we get some more money to shatter that, but it's not really that big of a deal. So what we're going to do instead is go over here. There was a chest back there too. You can see them on the map. And you open this chest, and you see I already have some items stored away from another character. And what you can do is then put this in here, and these stashes, so this is a stash where you can store stuff because you're limited to your inventory here. If you get a piece of loot that you want to save for later, or you really like it, just don't want to sell it, you can put it in here. And you can add stash tabs that you can just buy for 1,000 gold to have even more space to store stuff. And you can sort this and organize it, but also this is shared across your characters. So if you get, like, I already have one of these arrow guards, for example, and you can see I said that they were fixed. They're fixed in, you can see they have chance to receive a glancing blow, 5 health gained, and armor, but these roll differently, but most of this is set. So you're going to get something where it's like, you know, this one has way more bow damage. This one has a little bit more stun chance. So they're similar. All of the affixes and everything are the same, but they are randomized between them, so you're looking for a superior one. But I'm not playing anybody who uses this, so I just save it for later. And that's what you could do with your unique items if you get them. If you don't want to do that, you can just sell them, but I always keep them. All right, everybody. Well, this was a lot of explaining where we talked about the loot filter, we practiced setting up just a couple of basic rules, and we also looked at the forge and shattered one item and enhanced another at the very, very basic level, just to get you an introduction into those systems. And like I said, we'll kind of talk about them more as we go. We also set a second specialized skill, and we are really, really getting stronger in this game, and I hope you're still enjoying this series, finding it to be useful and fun. If you have any extra information that you'd like to share or any corrections to anything that I've said, I'd really appreciate that. Just make sure it's beginner friendly so that new players can understand it. And I will check you guys in the next one. Take care.